welcome back, and if you're new around here, hi, I'm Janine from happystylishfit.com, where I give all sorts of tips and tricks to help you live a happy, stylish, and fit lifestyle. So today it is all about makeup brushes. This has become highly requested, especially through Instagram, is what brush do you use for what? So I'm bringing things back to basics and telling you your basic 6 brushes that you must have for a basic essential beauty kit. And of course you don't have to have it, but these are the ones that I recommend as basics. Plus there's one other trick I'll tell you at the end of the video for a 7th brush that you don't actually have to buy. You can make it yourself. And I know that sounds weird, but it's gonna make sense. But anyway, I think this is going to be a couple part series, so if you like this video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up or comment below or on social media at Happy Stylish Fit. Let me know you're interested in this, and I will do another expanded video going over my full collection of makeup brushes and what to use for what thing. So without further ado, let's just figure out what to do with all of these. Alright, so I'm going to start with the face and work our way towards the eyes. So a must-have makeup brush is a foundation brush. So this is up to you for your preferred method of applying foundation. For me, it's a brush. There is also makeup sponges, which are great. I really like the finish of them, but personally I find I'm using up way more product, and that stuff ain't cheap. So I'm gonna use my brush and make it last a lot longer. And then there's also like little silicone sponge things, which I'm interested in trying because I feel like it's kind of a good cross between the sponge and the brush. But anyway, must have is to have something to apply foundation. So in a brush specifically, you're looking for something that is a fairly flat top and nice and tight, like a lot of bristles in a smaller space. You don't want it to be too fluffy. And so I have all of these brushes are MOTD Cosmetics. They're totally vegan, hypoallergenic, and they're super cute too with the rose gold. So this one is called Beauty in the Base, but there's lots of great foundation brushes out there. You're just looking for flat kind of top. They're also referred to as stippling brushes, and it just works great for applying your foundation. So the next must-have brush is a blush brush. So there's a few different options when you're choosing a blush brush. So I would say your best one for beginners is a fan brush. This is really easy to just lightly tap on where you want to apply the blush. You don't have to think too much about the area or caking on too much. It's generally a nice and light application, and you can just layer on more if you want. So I definitely recommend fan style if you're more of a beginner. Then my preferred that I've moved over to, this one is called Get Cheeky With It, and it is a angled brush, and it is a bit more flat, similar to the foundation brush, but not quite as dense. This one's not super fluffy, but it's easy to control. The thing with this is you are really paying attention to where you're applying it, and it is easier to accidentally put too much on, but it works great for just blending it out. So this is my preferred one. So your other option for a blush brush is something a lot more fluffy. This I got from an Ipsy bag, and it's just a very fluffy style, which I find is great for blending, but you don't have as much control. That's why I don't like it as much. So my recommendation, if you're a beginner, go for the fan brush. If you want to be able to play with things a little bit more, have some more control, I would go for a nice angled brush that is a little bit thicker. Then I would recommend a basic kind of brush like this. So this one is called the Handyman, and it's because it does a whole lot of different things. So if you're wanting to keep your brush bag very minimal, I recommend something like this, and it's going to save you from getting a bunch of different brushes. So for this, it is a cone-ish kind of shape. I'm not sure, I feel like that makes sense. Kind of domey. and it's not flat, it's angled up, and it is more dense than a fluffy brush, but not super dense. And so this, you can do contour if you want to do contour. You can also use highlight. This is probably my main highlight brush because again, I have a lot of control over where it goes, so kind of dab along there. If you wanted, you can use it for concealer, but personally, again, if you're wanting to keep it minimal, just starting out, use your finger concealer. You don't need to do anything fancy with that. You're putting powder over. I would just lightly dab with your finger. There's no need for a brush if you're just starting out. But yeah, so something like that, that is just a kind of average looking brush, I guess I would say, a tapered dome style brush. So this one is the Handyman. Then my last face style brush is your big fluffy one. So this is kind of a big go-to that many people recognize. This one is called Set and Go because it does just that. It's great for setting your face and going. So this is used for like loose powder, especially. That's really the big one, and you can just kind of fluff it all over your face. If you wanted, you're in a rush, you can use like highlighter or bronzer, quickly put it on, run out the door. And it's also great for blending. So if I'm finding my like contour and blush is a little bit more harsh or more noticeable than I want it to be, I'll go ahead with this and just blend it all out. So this is a great, again, super multi-purpose brush that is great to have. Then moving on to eyes, you really can get into having a bunch of them. So again, if you want me to do a longer video going over all of the brushes I use and what each one is good for, I can definitely do that, let me know. But there are two basics that I personally think everyone should have, and that is a main shadow brush and a blending brush. So the main shadow one is called Shady Lady. So this is a similar style to the Handyman, but a lot smaller. So it's dome shaped, tapered towards the top. It's not very dense, and so you just pack this on your lid, put it up here. You can use it to kind of dab shadow in your crease, and then you blend it out. Blending brush is, you have to have a blending brush. If you had to skip one of them, I would say skip this, apply with your finger, and then blend it out. Blending is what is going to take your makeup look from just kind of starting out with a little bumps and stuff with it kind of going on to really looking a lot more polished. So you just use this to blend out anything. If you have too much shadow on, blend it out. You don't want any lines in between your eyeshadows. You just use this to blend it. I'll pack things in my crease and then again just blend it so it's not too dark. Then my last brush, which I mentioned is a bit of an essential, but it's not something you have to go out and buy, is some sort of spoolie brush. So my trick, instead of going out and buying a spoolie brush, is to use an old mascara one. So once you're finished with your mascara, you don't just throw it out. Take out the wand, rinse it, super clean it. You're gonna get black shit everywhere, but just clean it right off. And then you have a little spoolie brush, which is perfect for keeping your eyebrows in place. So you can just brush that out and then everything's looking all nice, and you don't need to invest in a $15 plus brush when a old mascara brush works just as well. Some tips to look for when buying brushes. If you're in store, I like to really swirl it around a lot and see if there's any fibers that are coming out. Sometimes just with a new brush you might get a couple things come out, but higher quality that doesn't happen, and I find it personally super annoying when they start to fall out. If you're searching for things online, definitely check for that in reviews. The old brushes I used to use didn't do that at first, and then it was constantly happening, and it was very frustrating to get little black pieces all on your face and not notice. So try and test it out to see if it comes off at all, talk to whoever's at the store that you're buying it from, or check out the reviews to see if that happens. You also, I personally, yes, I eat very plant-based and against animal cruelty, so that partly ties into things, but I like a nice synthetic fiber. Not only is it great for animals, not using animal hair, but they dry a lot quicker, so when you're washing them, I find with my more natural bristle brushes, it could take a really long time for them to dry, where these ones dry super quick. I will definitely be able to use them the next day when I wash them. Also, if you're looking for tips on washing makeup brushes, I do have another video for that, so I will link it down below. But anyway, synthetic, which also makes it a lot more hypoallergenic because it is a closed fiber, so it doesn't store things as much, so you'll get a lot longer lifespan with your brush when it is synthetic. I also personally look for how soft it is because you're using these on your face all the time. You don't want anything that is very coarse. You want something that is nice and soft. And yeah, I definitely recommend reading a bunch of reviews. If you are looking to buy something, I highly recommend the MOTD Cosmetics makeup brushes. I do have a discount code that I will link below, and you can also find it in the shop on my blog. They're great, vegan, cruelty-free, they're super cute, and when you don't know what to use a brush for, they have those really cute names like Set and Go that help remind you what you should use it for. Otherwise, make sure you check out lots of reviews and talk to the store clerks to really get a great brush. One of the tricks I used to do when I was younger and working in retail, I would kind of buy one new makeup item each payday as a little treat for myself. So I would go to, say, MAC or wherever in either Sephora, or they didn't have that at my mall, so I would go to the Bay makeup department and I would just talk to them and see about a new brush that would fit into my normal routine, because you don't need to go crazy getting a huge thing if you're not someone that's wearing makeup all the time and playing with a bunch of different looks. So if you're looking for basic staples, stick to these 6 and then make your own spoolie brush out of a mascara, so you have 7 brushes. Those are great basics. You don't really need more than that, although I love having more options. So again, I can make another video that goes more in depth than that, but I think that is good for now. I will wrap it up. So there you go, basic brushes, and yeah, I will see you guys next Friday. Okay, bye.